morning and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own financial expert, our very own expert, Judy Kopenbarger. How are you, Judy?
I'm great. Hi, Carlos. Happy Tuesday to you. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I am looking forward to today's show because we've been on a roll, right? Especially you. You've shared a lot of great wisdom. We've got some great topics. And if you're just joining us for the first time, please make sure that you follow Judy at judykopenbarger.today, folks. We are here every Tuesday mornings from 8 a.m. And we are also doing the replays on Thursdays at 8 p.m. So make sure you follow Judy. All of our social media links are on there as well, too. So, hey, we've got a jam-packed show. What do you say we introduce our topic and we get started?
I love that. And I also loved how you say .today. I feel like that's such an upgraded. We were .com, forever.
Right.
And .today just sounds so current and relevant and updated. And I'm so excited about all the new content and the new, like everything. So I love that .today.
.today, folks. Make sure you mark it down for sure. And make sure you follow her as well.
Awesome.
So, Judy, let's talk about today about the role of financial planning in wealth creation, and more importantly, I've got a question right out of the gate for you. How important is having a financial plan for building that long-term wealth, and what are the key benefits for doing that?
Wow. Well, you get there faster. Planning is just really a blueprint. It's a map. It's a plan. It's like a set. Like when you go to build something, you don't just start digging a hole and pour concrete in there. There's like a plan. Where are the windows going to be? Where's the elevator going to be? Where are the doors going to be? What do I need to do about power? And is there plumbing? All of that. So you have to kind of think all those things through before you start. Otherwise, you build a wall and you go, oops, I got to tear it down. I missed something. There was a gap. And financial planning is the same way. If you have a blueprint, if you have a map of exactly where you want to end up and what that outcome will be, then you can get there quicker. So there are a few fundamental benefits, I would say, to planning. You can either look at it as when you plan, this is when you get what you get, or you can look at it, well, I didn't plan, here's what I missed. Here's where the risk was, here's where I imploded. I had to start over again. So if you would like, you can go into some of the key benefits.
That would be awesome. And folks, as you're just joining us, please make sure that you also grab a pen and paper, take some notes down, because you're going to want to really listen to all of this.
Yeah, this is one of those programs that's going to be like a note taking or a review again, because it's kind of a list of do's and don'ts, shoulds and shouldn'ts, and wish I would have. So it's one of those kind of programs. So I made a couple of notes here. So one thing is when you're creating a financial plan, you're just really, I like the analogy of a roadmap. And you start with where you want to end up, right? If you're going to take a road trip or go see grandma or, visit with a friend, maybe you're going to go see Mount Rushmore or something, right? You have a destination in mind, and then when you're on track and when you're off track, right? So maybe you do a couple of side trips, stop over here and go see a monument or something, but you're going to get right back on the road and head toward where your destination is intended to be. So you really need that clarity. A lot of people do activities, they do tasks. I'll put a little in my 401k. I'll save some money because grandpa said, save. He taught my mom and my dad save. And so that's what they did. And that's what I do. But what's it for? What's the outcome for it? Is it to have a big pile of money at the end? Maybe that's your outcome. But if it's for other things, you want to be specific about what those are. So really specific goal setting can help a lot. It's also about, if I have goals and I'm saving for my goals and I'm putting money in my retirement program and all of that, there's a lot of concern people have about how to allocate their income. Now, they're good at allocating their expenses because the bill comes, you pay the bill. That's easy. But when the money comes in, how do you allocate it for the things that don't have a statement or a bill attached to them? Like pay yourself first. And how much should I put in retirement every time I get a paycheck? Is there a percentage that I should put toward the future or toward other goals? Yes. Now, what that percentage is up to you, and it depends on you and your family's goals. but you really want to have some intention around that. Otherwise, you're saving. And this is a mistake we made early. I've always been a saver, I've always been a stasher. I still have that tendency, but now I have purpose. And I wish earlier in my teens and 20s, I would have had a little more purpose. If I went back and said, I wish I would have, I was a good saver and always have done it. But I wish I would have been more intentional about what it was for. I think I would have done even more. And so I like to help people consider that in their planning. So
Awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's good. We learn from other people's mistakes, and if you can do that, it's a lot a lot quicker, a lot more fun. I had some clients that came in and they had a lot of cash, a lot of real estate, and were high earners. Still are. They're doing really well, and they've been clients about 10 years now. And when they came in, they had all this cash, but not really investments other than 401k that were doing much. And even their investments were what I would say out of balance. So once they got rebalanced and they got some intention around the growth in those accounts, and we got everything aligned with what that intention or that outcome was, it was amazing. And so growth has been optimized with that. So that can really help. Some other clients come to mind that are back east, and they have very little in their like traditional investments, but they have businesses that are well capitalized, so they have cash. The businesses that require a lot of cash pops, and they have a lot of real estate. So the cash flow and the cash management is really where they need to put their intention in their planning. It's not about the big stock and bond portfolios. It's about managing these other things. So a lot of the work we're doing is more about taxation and positioning and legacy and management of all of this, and finding balance in life with all these irons in the fire. So for planning, it's different for everyone depending on what your outcome is and what you want for your family and what you have to work with.
So let's take that into planning. So let's talk about the nuts and bolts, right? So a lot of folks ask the same question over and over, and I'm hoping that this resonates with a lot of you guys listening and joining us this morning. But basics, what are the main components of a solid financial plan?
Yeah, well, you got to have a spending plan, right? That's that. Where's the money going to go? Where's it going to come from, right? You got to have an earnings plan, right? So hopefully you're past that. And maybe if you're young and starting out, you don't yet. How much do I need to earn? Do I need a side hustle? Do I need a certain career? Do I need to open a business? So once you have the income buttoned up, then you can work on how to allocate the expenses, which what we were just talking about. Some for now, some for soon, and some for later. And every time money comes in, wherever it comes from, whatever the source, you want to have some for now, that's your monthly expenses, some for soon, short-term goals, and some for later, the rainy day and the long-term goals, retirement, and anything, the second house, the cabin in the woods down the road, all of those things. So that spending plan, a lot of people will call it the B word, budget. I don't like that word.
No.
I don't like that word. It's what I can't
Right.
have, what I can't do. It's like a diet, an eating plan. I could get into that. I could get into a spending plan. I don't want those B words and D words, right? So I want what I can have, what I choose to spend money on, what I choose to invest in. That just makes more sense for me. So I had this client I was working with just the other day, and they have pretty high earners, but they have very high irregularity in their earnings. They get a big bonus and then nothing, and then a big bonus and then nothing. And so a lot of folks on commission like that, realtors sometimes are that way. People that have like sales jobs, it's that way. It's like you have like feast or famine. And so for them, their planning was all about managing the gaps. And, when the money doesn't come in, you get 150,000 one month and then nothing for a couple of months. Now, what do you do? So managing that and living at the right level and always, again, putting money for now, for soon, for later. And then, of course, then the taxes come, right? Folks like that, got to plan for the taxes. So, and having enough capital, to fund those lean times for them was really important. Another client I just met the other day. They're so cool. They've been clients for like 30 some years, maybe 35 years. I'm thinking of the ages of their kids. They just welcomed grandbaby number 4. But when they have 2 daughters, and when their girls were little, they wanted to cover college for them and have them come out debt free, and just that was an important value for them. Their parents had done that for them, and they're like, we want to provide, and so they had the income to pull it off. It was saving for a good probably 15 years to get the girls ready, so it was fully funded, and they covered college, and they even helped them with some homes later with the leftovers. But that was their big goal, to make sure that their planning allowed for that education to happen, to be funded. And they both went to good schools, and didn't have any debt coming out. So things like that can happen. For them, that was allocation. It was part of that spending plan in those early years. And that now they are retiring, and it's all, it's all great. But planning is going to have, not only what you earn, like getting the right investments that have growth, but it's going to be what you don't have to pay, mitigating tax or eliminating a lot of taxes. And there's so many great tools people are unaware of to do that, not only from the investment side, but from the insurance side, from the estate planning side, the legal side. There are a lot of ways to not pay Sam more than he is due, our uncle Sam. And everybody, he's always in line there to, get his.
Yeah.
And so it's not just, earning more or investing more and having more ROI. It's keeping more of what actually comes in. So a good plan is going to have all of those elements, the protection and the growth at the same time.
So I'm gonna give you an additional follow-up question to that.
Mhm.
It's always very important that you talked about with the financial planning too, and I'm sure in your career you have seen fantastic planning. You have also seen the worst of planning. You have also seen people with actually no action plan whatsoever. Do you want to touch a little bit on all those 3 components? Because I think it's important for folks to relate to some of these experiences your clients have gone through.
Yeah. So is your question, what's the difference between people that plan and people that don't?
People that don't, or people that don't even have a plan, right? Or
Mm.
they started a plan, but they kind of quit halfway through it because it's too hard. I don't want to, deal with it or keep track of this too.
Yeah, it's kind of like that roadmap analogy again. I'm sitting here in Southern California today, and if I was going to go up to Vancouver, I would just go north. That's all I have to do is get on the 5 and just go north and don't get off, right? And
Mhm.
so people that don't have a plan are thinking, where do I want to go? Should I go north or south? I could go a little bit west. Here I'd run into the ocean pretty quickly, but I could go east for a while. I can go north for a long time. North to Alaska, it's like, where am I going? So the first thing with planning is just, where do I want to end up? You
All
know,
right.
and at least get some direction. And that just comes from clarity of the goals. And sometimes when I'll sit down with people, or I'll hear them after I'll speak, they kind of come up and ask questions and, chat after. And I'll have people that say, I am married and we're not in alignment. My goal is to have a cabin in the woods or a villa at the beach. My husband's goal is to just travel and hit every golf course between here and Mississippi, right? So if you're not aligned, maybe we can do both goals. But if you're not aligned, how do we know which way we're going? Are we going north or east? Are we saving short term or long term? That's going to impact everything. The horizon, like when we're going to retire, how much money we're going to need. If we have other extended family or children or grandkids, are we going to involve them? Some people forget to plan for that. They have this big goal of the thing they're going to do when they don't have to go to work every day. And then the grandbabies come and it's like all the plans change. It's like now they're going to move in the cul-de-sac down the street from the kids, right? So I think it's important to have that alignment. And when people don't, you can't make a goal if you don't have common outcomes, common goals. So you got to do that. And then I think if I was going to add, the few things where people make the most mistakes about either not planning or not integrating the right elements of their plan, there are only a few financial principles that always will save you and never will hurt you. And if you adhere to these principles or use this filter, when you're going to make a financial decision, use this filter. If you do it every time, you will avoid 95% of the mistakes. And
Wow.
statistics, almost all 87%, I think, of statistics are made up right on the spot. So 95%, it's very high. So the mistakes are going to happen if you don't diversify. That's how you reduce or eliminate risk. You want to diversify. You don't want to have all your eggs in real estate or all your eggs in a certain stock that you worked for, the company, you love it, and all your money's there. Well, things change. You're not spread out. You're not diversifying your risk. Balancing is another one. When you are investing, do you have all of your investments in one sector or one company? That's even worse. But you really like IT, everything is in technology. You really like financials, everything is in the banks. Well, things change. And so you're going to see more of a roller coaster when you don't diversify. Most people, conservative philosophy, right? Most people would like less roller coaster. Not everyone. Some people are like the thrill of the ride, woo,
Right.
they love it. But financially, most people, or they're at least married to one, a little bit more conservative approach. I don't want to risk too much, especially later in my planning and when I'm a veteran at life, when you add on those years. What do they say? Long in the tooth? I've never understood that unless it's an old horse, that needs their teeth filed. I don't know. But balancing is important. Laddering is another concept a lot of people aren't even aware of how important it is. And that's just the concept of money that you allocate for now, for soon, and for later. You ladder when you're going to need it. It's the timing of it, right? And then dollar cost averaging. When you're investing, you don't want to put big pops in all at once. I mean, it's great if you have a big pop,
Right.
but it's always better to do a little bit over time and buy shares over time, because you're going to buy fewer shares that cost more and more shares that cost less. So the average is going to come down. That's dollar cost averaging. And if you're investing in an IRA regularly or a 401k at work, that's going to be what's happening for you. You're going to be dollar cost averaging and lowering your basis costs, which means you're going to have a higher ROI. Really smart. So those are some concepts that should always be included in a plan or considered. When people make a mistake, it's usually in one or more of those areas.
And that's great information. And folks, we're almost at the tail end of our show, and I want to make sure that we get to this. Hey, this is going to be, I'm sure, one of our amazing challenges that you have for us. So I'm looking forward to it. And I hope, folks, you guys got your pen and paper ready. Take it away, Judy.
Well, part of the challenge is just this might be new language. So it's learning a new vocabulary, a new language for a few concepts that we just went over, and then applying them. That's going to be your challenge. So are you diversifying? Do you feel really comfortable? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is high, 1 is low. How well are you diversified now? Or do you even know? How well are you balanced now in your investment portfolios? Or do you even know? How confident are you? 10 is high, 1 is low. And the third thing is laddering. Are you laddering now, or are you just saving, or are you just surviving? Maybe it's not a season where you feel like you have anything to save. So are you laddering? So diversifying, balancing, laddering, dollar cost averaging. If you're investing regularly at work in a retirement plan, you're already doing that. So that's good. But these are the three that if you just take a look at what the concepts are, whether you're mastering them or applying them or not, that's huge. And then your challenge will be if I don't feel good, if my number is low and my confidence of applying this principle, what can I do to increase that? Do I need to talk to my broker? Do I need to talk to the HR guy or the 401k provider? Do I need to talk to somebody who could help me and advise me on what kind of investments I should have? And whether I'm balanced or not, and what might happen in the future. What do I need to do? So master these three concepts, apply them, and then get the help if you need to make a change. That's your challenge.
All right, folks. And if you have any concerns or any questions, please make sure that you reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to address those concerns. If you also have some additional suggestions for topics that you'd like Judy to address, please let us know. Send us a message directly on social media. If you're just joining us now, please make sure you watch the beginning of the show. We've had a great show talking about the role of financial planning in wealth creation. So make sure you watch the beginning of the show. Follow Judy at judykopenbarger.today, like we said earlier, and you will find all of our social media links. Judy, any last parting words?
Yeah, hug somebody you love today because you never know about tomorrow. Make it a great day.
Great words. Until next week. See you later, Judy.
Bye-bye.